Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
This has to be one of the worst coffees I've ever had. Not because it's bad, but because it's too freaking strong. But anyways, growing up, my father used to call me the mad scientist. Not because I was mixing a lot of things, trying to see what comes out of it, but because I was a child with too many interests. I was big on poetry. I was big in sports. I was big on music. I have a guitar back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. So I was big with music, big reader. I have a lot of board games. I probably have about 10K worth of board games, which is a nerdy obsession of mine. I was big on gaming. I also played it professionally for some time. Dota 2, I don't know if you know about it. I'm a content creator. I'm in sales and a lot more things even outside of that I just love as interest and I wanted to pursue them. So how did I make a career, a really successful career? Just to give you an idea, I'm 21 years old. Last month I did about 9,600 working 4 hours a day, and we are pacing for about 15K this month, and for this year, by the end of this year, we are aiming for about 50 to 70K a month working less than 4 hours a day. And I still pursue all of my interest, but the question is, how did I choose a career out of something that I love and made a lot of money with it while also maximizing my career and my interests on the side? So that is the whole context of the video. Now, the first thing that I want to leave you with, and I want to start off this video with, is to realize that I don't have a script. I don't do any edited videos. This would rather be a really simple one-on-one conversation between you and me, where I would give you actual actionable steps that you could maximize. Now, the first thing that you got to realize is sometimes your passions or your hobbies or your interest won't pay your bills. So if you're someone that has, I don't know, 1 or 2 passions, you cannot expect to make money with it as of right now. And I know that is a really difficult thing to accept, but true wisdom is in accepting that your passions might not make you rich, but it is looking for the side benefit of that passion or interest that would make you rich. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, growing up, I'm not from the US or anything else, so child labor was never an issue in my country. So when I was 14 years old, I was working as a dishwasher and then as a waiter in this restaurant. And I did that for about a year. And I was thinking about it like a couple of days ago, that when I was working as a waiter and I had to shift into something else where I could make a lot more money because I was only making like $70 a month and I hated it, I had to look for the side benefits of being a waiter. For example, as a waiter, one thing that I was really good at was people and communicating with them, because I was connecting with a lot of different people on a day-to-day basis. So then I had to look into the side benefits of being good at communication or being good at connecting with people. And I ended up thinking about a couple of them. One of them could be content creation, public speaking, connecting with people, helping them. The other thing would have been, I don't know, starting some sort of like a tour kind of thingy where you take them on tours, group tours, and making money with that, then building connections, because I already know how people work. And the third one was getting into something like sales. Now, I thought about it and I was like, okay, if I'm already good with people and I'm already conversing with them and I'm helping them buy something, and then I'm upselling them basically to buy more things, even a dessert or some drinks or anything else, I'm already in sales. Sort of. So why not pursue sales as a career and have things on the side that I could just leverage as interests? For example, playing guitar, creating content, reading books, playing board games, doing gaming on my PS5, whatever the reason might be, whatever your interest might be. Now, thinking back at it, and going back to my point, which was me being the waiter and looking for the side benefit of it. Now, once I figured out that I wanted to get into basically sales, the next thing that I wanted to get clarity on was, what do I want out of like this space, like sales in general? And when I say that, a lot of people focus on the career. They focus on, oh, I would start as a sales rep or an appointment setter, then I would become a closer, then a manager, and then this. I don't want you to focus on that. Rather, I want you to focus, what do you want out of this space or whatever space you choose externally? What I mean by that is, do you want to make like 10K a month working less than 4 hours a day and having the remaining time for your interests and living your life? Like, what do you expect out of of a specific industry externally in terms of what do you want your life to look like if you were to get into that space. And then what you do is you plan it out accordingly of like, what do you want to, like, what part of the industry do you want to be a part of that can actually allow you to live the life that you want and get the externals out of it. Hope that makes sense. So now let's say you are good at painting, right? Let's say that is one of your interests. The biggest thing is to look for the side benefit of that, which is creativeness. So what could I do if I was creative? Maybe I could become a creative director for a couple of influencers. What is a creative director? You help them, you figure out reels and real ideas for them, and then you help them create it, you help with direction, and then you help them with editing and everything else. Again, that is a career path that you can choose. So again, you look at your interest that you're doing, then you look at the side benefit of that thing, and then you look at the externals of what you want out of it if you were to get into it, and then you choose a career path that way that would help you the best. It's pretty simple. Now, what do you do with your interest? For example, as I gave you the example of being a painter. Now, if you were a painter and you became a creative director, what do you do with painting? It's pretty simple. And this advice would apply to almost everyone. Start a brand. Start talking about it on Instagram, on Facebook. Start showing your interest. If you're really good at gaming, start making some content over the weekends. If you are a really good painter, start showing your paintings from the start to the end on Instagram Reels. If you are good at music, start recording yourself and posting it. Now, why do you want to do that? Because at the end of the day, you want your main thing, your interest, to replace your career in itself. That is the goal. For example, with me, I write music every single day. I give it a lot of time. I have a whole album that I would want to pursue at some point and I want to push out. Another thing is I'm a coach as of right now, but it took me 6 years to become a coach because again, I was really good at with people, and being a teacher or a coach was one of the things that I've wanted for the longest time ever because I've naturally been good at explaining things. So I wanted that as a career option, but it took me a couple of years to achieve that. Same thing with you. If you want your actual interest to replace your income as a whole or your career, and you want that to be your career, you got to start posting about it. Because the more people recognize you and find you on Instagram and the more recognition you gain, the easier it's going to be to basically monetize that audience and do something that can actually help you make a lot of money. Again, guys, it's not that difficult and I wouldn't want to make it that difficult. But number one is you basically look at what you're doing in terms of your interests. You look at the side benefit of that thing. Then you find a career option of that thing that could match up with where you are currently. Then you take that career and you look at the external things of what you want out of that career, and then you just sit down and you try to figure out a part of that industry, of that career that can actually give you that life that you're looking for. And then on the side, you keep on posting and keep on publicizing your work, your interest, and everything else with the hopes that this thing is going to replace your career in itself. Pretty simple. Again, it's not that difficult. Now, what do you do in the meantime? Should you just focus on those, or should you still be someone that is big on interest, like a mad scientist? That's what my father called me. Should you still be a mad scientist as you're doing all of this? Yes. Picking a career does not mean it is the end to your exploration of interests. To this day, I'm still trying to learn a new language. I'm big on traveling now. I want to work on a few other things, right? I want to have a physical mastermind that I want to host with a couple of students. So again, it's like you don't stop your interests or the exploration of it just because you have a career now. Hope that makes sense. So again, guys, it's not that difficult, and I keep on saying this again and again because a lot of people have imposter syndrome where they might think to themselves, okay, what if I actually what if I'm not meant for this? What if I cannot do this? What if I cannot post myself online? What if I cannot get a job? What if I cannot make a career out of this? And all I can say is if you look at the side benefit, and if it's something that's a good side benefit and you can easily find a career out of it, and it could be anything. By the way, if you spend 2 hours on this, you can find 10 different careers that you can get into. And the best part, that career is actually in line with things that you're already good at, and then you're also pursuing your interest on the side in hopes that it's going to replace your income full time. Again, I don't want to prolong this video too much. I hope that helps you in the best way possible. That is what I did over the last 6 years. I went from making $70 a month to making 10K. 10K a month, working less than 4 hours a day. I still play a lot of board games. I still have my life. I still create content. I read a lot of books. I do music. I travel a lot. lot, and the only reason I'm able to do that was following the same exact guide that I gave you today. A few years ago when I did this, I did it accidentally, but now I'm giving it to you in the simplest form possible to ensure that you can make something out of your life. And with that being said, we'll see you some other day.